Building this Stinger Spec wing is almost identical to building the Stinger 30 wing, which I have videos posted for just about a complete build on that. The only exception obviously being that the dimensions are different on the Spec wing, the cutouts, than they are on the Stinger 30. First thing you do obviously is you go through and you split the cores, so you've got the two shells, and then you want to go in and you want to mark your chord line, the center line, both the root and the tip, and then we're going to lay out our marks for our cuts because like the Stinger 30, we're going to build both wing halves with the exception of the main spar and the rear spar. We're going to have the battery cut out. We're going to have the front spars all glued in and all the cutouts done, ready to go before we glue it all together. Then when we glue it all together, we'll glue it together in shells and everything will be real straight, and we'll be building the wings in the shells as we go with the spars. So, and the cutouts, really, there's not a whole lot of difference, but there are some, obviously. The first thing you need to do is these cores, when they come out, because of the way they're positioned in the CNC cutter, are generally just slightly longer. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go through here, we want to measure off 9 inches for the cord, and 6 inches back in the back for the tip. And then we want to remove that and cut that down. Of course, using a sharp knife, obviously, that goes without saying. So your cuts are nice and clean. We just want to cut that off and kind of cut it off flush. That'll give us a Spec wing that's got a 9-inch core and a 6-inch tip. But also the way these are cut, they've got a trailing edge which starts out at 1/8 of an inch. When we cut this, it makes it a little bit wider at the end, which is good because we're going to bring our elevons in here, move them out. We're going to leave a solid tip on the end. Okay, to install the front spars, measure back our 1 inch, draw a vertical line. 1 7/16 of an inch, draw a vertical line. And then draw a line between the 2 points. And marked in 1 inch, mark here, and then 19 inches, which is the length of the spar. And I've already got my spars cut to a 19-inch length. So next we're just going to take the knife. I'm going to be using CA to glue these in. I'm trying to do this because CA seems to work okay for me. And it's also probably the lightest way to build, but feel free to use the glue of your choice, like Goop, or use a Gorilla Glue clear grip that seems to work pretty good, or the regular Gorilla Glue, although that gets kind of messy. The CA is the thick CA is kind of quick and it's easy and it seems to work just fine. Okay, I've drawn out and cut the dimensions on the Stinger Spec. It's like on the video of the Stinger 30, but I just wanted to cover because there's a couple of critical cuts here. It's really simple, but just a couple things. One is putting the masking tape on there, we put our 2 halves together, taped it, and we've drawn out everything. Okay, these are the lines that you put vertical on the cord. This is 7 1/4 inches back. This is where the firewall is going to glue onto. That's a critical cut, so we're going to cut that last because that cut has to be square. It has to be 90 degrees because that's going to set the thrust line. This 8 1/2 inches out is just a line that comes out here. Then we measured out and drew a straight line here. Then measured out 3 1/2 inches. This is simply where we're going to cut from there to there. Okay, and when you make these lines, make sure to use something like a protractor or something, just so you make these things square. That's why you kind of tape everything together. The other critical cut is going to be on the elevons. Now we've got it marked out. And what we did was we just put a couple of lines, just made them perpendicular to the elevon. Okay, I did that and just drew the line. These are just lines, just kind of arbitrary where I can make them fit, and then measured up 1.5 inches because that's the width of the elevon. Okay, and then just drew a line straight across. That just marks out the elevon. The actual cutout, we're going to measure up 2 1/4 inches from the tip here, and 2 1/4 inches from the leading edge, from the trailing edge, and draw a line. The elevon is going to be cut to here. This is going to remain solid. Okay, and then the rest of this is going to get cut out. It goes here, and of course this goes like this. So the way to cut this, in order to cut this, and again, a sharp knife is a really good idea. good idea. It's mandatory. The first thing to cut is these straight lines here going to the firewall. And just try to cut those 90 degrees all the way through. Now we're going to cut out the center section here. And cutting out, this line goes here to here. That's the end of the elevon right there. Again, we're making these just 90 degrees to the straight edge. And this cut goes from there to there. Yeah, 90 degrees, best as you can. We can finish up these cuts after we cut the elevon, because the elevon is a critical cut. Now, to do the elevon, what makes it so critical is that we've got to put an edge on it, a beveled edge. We've got to cut it in this way at a 40 foot, so this elevon's got where it can tilt down. So just make sure you got your marks marked out plainly where you're going to cut it to, which is going to come to here, 2 1/4 inches up on the leading edge of the elevon. And we're already cut from here. So what we've got to do is lay this out right on that line. Now, starting here makes it doesn't matter because all this is coming out. Don't cut past this though, at least not yet. It's not that important, I guess you can, but that's all coming out. So when you cut this, you want to take this blade and you want to put this thing at about at least a 45-degree angle. You want a pretty good angle. About a 45-degree angle works pretty good. And there's the start of the elevon right there. We'll go just past it because that's all coming out. And we want to cut this cut to here, not all the way, to here. And then we'll come down here. And you make this as 90 degrees as possible. We'll cut this out. There we go. Work slowly. If something doesn't come out, it's probably because it's not cut all the way up to its square. Try not to force it or you will pull out some foam. Come out there. Let me show you what the elevon looks like. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we want. We want the cut to be at a nice angle like that. So anyway, let's cut out the other side. So don't cut out, do all this right here. We can go and pull this out right here. We're going to cut out the other side. What you want to leave is okay. What I'm kind of pointing out here is I want to leave this center section in place right here. Okay, so then we'll cut out the, and you can actually separate these in two and do this. I just did it in one piece to kind of show you how it's supposed to look. But we want to leave this center section intact for right now, so I'm going to go cut out this side. Be right back.